I'm as well the first mine owner professional in Ireland. What does it mean? That this talk actually will be looking at different thinking styles through the prism of mine owner. We can look at everything what we have in our life through different lenses, through different options, opinions. This is just one of them, but I find it very useful to explain how differently we think when we are a job seeker and how differently we think when we are an employer or a hiring manager or a talent acquisition or HR professional. So quickly the agenda, so what's going to be covered is what the mine owner is, how we differ and why, and we will look at differences through 4 meta-programs that might actually also fluctuate during the hiring process, but it's important to know them and understand them as it will help you if you're a job seeker to land a job, to land the offer, and it will help you as an employer to understand where the job seeker is coming from too. And finally, questions and answers. I'm very happy to take some. If there are questions that I wouldn't know answers, I will take your email and I will just basically email you back once I explore. Mine owner is just one of the tools, as I mentioned, that can help you to see the world differently and explore how you think, how you feel, and how you behave through the meta-programs and through the values graphs. You can learn more on the page that is listed, and you can explore it in detail. The tool itself, for you, how it works, if that's something that you want to know of, just visit the page, or you can talk to me afterwards. But the basic idea of it, of mine owner, is to look at your way of thinking in a specific context. It's not to assess you that you are this way. It's not like a personality test to tell you that there's nothing to be done here, you can't develop, this is how you are. Mine owner lets in the context, because quite often in a different context you behave, you think and you feel differently. And at work you might be a different person than you are in the private life. In the private life you might be a different person when you are a daughter, a husband, a boyfriend, and so on. So it's important to always take under consideration that we show up differently. That what we do today by just visiting Jobs Expo here is just one context of our life, and those contexts might be endless. This is only an example of the profile that I'm doing with my clients. You don't need to read this. It's meant to show you how different meta-programs show up. It's not that you're either this or that. It's not black and white thinking. Those bars can be different, they can be higher, they can be smaller, and it also gives you the opportunity to see that in this context, in this situation, I'm more inclined towards this way of being. But if I actually would work on it, I might develop something else, so I might increase the other bar that might be useful to landing a job, to hiring a good person, if you're an HR professional. So it's really a great tool that is not meant to filter out people. It's a tool that is meant to develop people. In the context of hiring, and here you see who is a job seeker and who is an employer, you can see right away the difference in thinking through the meta program, that companies are made of people. Sometimes job seekers forget that the company is made of people too. And there is no escape from that. How we fit in the culture of the company matters. What we do, how we show up, are we bringing good stuff with us, positive stuff? Do we uplift our coworkers? Do we develop? Do we want to grow? Do we want our company to grow? Or do we have a negative impact of others? And the first big difference here is that quite often job seekers, not all, are focusing only on landing a job, landing a task, while companies are focusing on people, because people are important. I know that in general, the mainstream promotes that, like, oh, that's corporate, that's company, they don't really care, you're just a number. But in the end of the day, a bad hire costs money, and it's really a big disruption to the company. So while you might think that you are going to be only a number and it's just about the job and the task, in fact you are still being picked as a person with everything what you have, with all your knowledge, skills and attitudes. And here I'm going to give you an example in the hiring process. In your opinion, or actually who thinks that employers are more proactive in the hiring process than job seekers? And who thinks that job seekers are more proactive? Thank you. So in the hiring process, actually, job seekers are more reactive because they are trying to react on already existing position. They apply for jobs that are already out there posted by employers. Proactiveness that we can see from employers is the decision to actually hire someone, decision to go through the hiring process, which is, by the way, much more complicated than many job seekers think it is. And it costs much more time and money than it is. And obviously there are job seekers who are more proactive. Those who talk to their friends, those who connect on LinkedIn, those who not necessarily apply for jobs but reach out actively to the companies in case there will be something for them. But in general, what we can see still is the old way of I just go and apply for a job that is already posted. And the fact is that 70% jobs are not being posted anywhere. They're being filled before they're actually announced, and some of them might be only announced for legal reasons. So it's worth remembering this. The next one is general versus specific. So who thinks that employers are general or inclined? Or who thinks that job seekers are more general? Okay. When I was hiring in retail, I often had thousands of CVs in front of me. I picked a few that I believed that would be a good fit. And then during the interview, I asked them, so why would you like to work here? And it really struck me how many people chose the answer, I just need a job. And job seekers are always very broad. They are always saying, oh, I can learn, I can do anything. Just tell me what. I just want to work. That's basically it. I'm great. But employers here are more specific. Employers here focus, okay, so I need a person who has knowledge, skills and attitudes that matches a certain role. And that's where the mismatch in profiles also happens. That job seekers are more broad, I can do anything, and employers are specific, I need a person that fits the team, the company, and can perform the task. The last one is actually a small fraction, because as job seekers know, they can learn everything. But your attitudes, your behaviors, the way how you show up, this is very difficult process. to shape or reshape someone and someone's culture, it's really, I wouldn't say impossible, because nothing is impossible, but it would take a lot of resources, and it might cause a harm to the company in between. Anyone who had a bad manager in their lives, they can relate. Next one, who thinks that job seekers are more towards orientated? So orientated for the future, moving towards. And who thinks that employers are more towards? In this context, actually, employers are more focused on towards, because they have a bigger picture, they have the business plan, mission, vision to fulfill. Quite often, job seekers are moving away from something. It can be personal matters, financial matters, whatever is happening in their life. And while they obviously want a job, so they move towards the job, that goal, in the long term, job seekers are more focused on moving away from something else. It's, again, those meta programs, they can fluctuate. It's not either or, it can be both. And companies are more focused on the proximity and together. How do we build teams? Even if the job itself doesn't require much of the interactions, but how this person will represent our company. This is a diagram that will be very hard to read, but it's a good diagram and it's a great book as well as a resource to understand how different thinking is. Employers, they go from the top. They hire usually first people who they know. Job seekers, they always go from the bottom. They always start from the resume. And it's really crucial to understand that actually if you want to land job successfully, you need to think more ahead. Good resume is not everything, and one resume is certainly not the way to land a job.